I want to talk to you, just get your opinion on something here. And it's just kind of some stuff that came up over the last couple of weeks. And you know, everybody's got an opinion, so there's no right or wrong answer here. But they had a situation down at Volusia, and I'm just using this one because it's the most recent, where they've got a certain lap limit that they're going to allow you guys to roll around there before you can refuel the cars. And then you hear a lot of people complaining about open reds because that's not sprint car racing. So, you know, they had a deal where one of the guys ran out of fuel running second or third, but the leader made it and a couple others dropped out. What's your thoughts on this? Do we need to do something with the fuel tanks to make them bigger? I don't like that idea. I don't like a bigger bomb riding around on their butt. Do we get the motors so they're not drinking as much fuel? You know, is it just the nature of the beast that you're going to have to deal with? What are your thoughts on stuff like that?
I think summertime you really don't have the problem, but when you're at Volusia, and the air's 500 below sea level, and you got a 900 to 940 motor, whatever they make on whoever's dyno, they're going to want fuel, and it's constant flow. It's not EFI. It doesn't squirt it in a timed injection. They're not built for fuel mileage. This ain't what they think it is. And the guys that make the rules, I don't know if they understand the motors and the fuel injection that we run on them. It's, if you were timed injection, you'd probably use half the fuel, and it's just when it's good air, you can't run enough. There's times when you could run too much, but when you're in Florida at Volusia, all you can give it, it'll take it. And I don't think they make a tank big enough for that. And if you did, you wouldn't want it on the back of your race car. If you turn a dart and throw it backwards, it's going to turn around and run the point in the wall. So that's what people don't understand about a sprint car. You don't want to have all that swinging weight behind you like that. Once you get, if you picture a Silver Crown car, there's a reason they don't drive them crazy. Once you get that pendulum swinging, you'll never stop it. Just, the heads and stuff, they flow a lot of air. The valve jobs that are on them now and the way the injections are, you're making so much horsepower now. It just, they'd have to put a serious rule in effect, to cut the horsepower down. You're not just going to make a whole size and do it. It's a whole evolution of where it's got to now, and why they use that much fuel. But when you're racing and guys are lifting and running the throttle, you're not really using that much. Generally your slicker racetracks, you won't use as much fuel as, if it rains or, the guys get a little carried away with the water truck and, you just run 30 laps, hammer down. There ain't nothing you can do about that. And then you throw wrecks in there or yellows and you're waiting for guys to get off the racetrack. It's part of the, it's the nature of the beast. There's guys that run out with a 33-gallon tank now. So it's, I don't think that's the answer. I don't really get involved in it because it's, the more you bitch, the more they go the other way. So I just think it's a lot of has to do with where the racetracks are at the end of the night and stuff like that is what dictates how much fuel you're going to use and what the air is. When summertime, when it's 3,000 feet, 3,500, 4,000 feet is nothing like running Volusia at 1,000 under sea level. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. The part that's hard to match up is you look at Volusia, which is the You look at Volusia, which is the fastest half mile out there, and you can't get 25 lap. You're running a 25 lap feature for the sprint cars, and the fan in me is like, only 25 laps. Well, we found out that's all they can get down there. They can't do 30. But you go to Eldora, back when the Kings Royal used to be 40 laps on a big fast half mile. And you guys your big tanks now go from what, 28 to, what's the big one?
28 to 33.
So most guys are probably running the 33-gallon tanks, right? But they're getting 5 more gallons, and they're going an extra 15 laps. The math doesn't work there until you factor in the air. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it just on a given night or given racetrack, there's just different racetracks you use more fuel. And like I said, it's constant flow. The fuel never quits running in the nozzle. As soon as you start the motor, it never stops. So it's constantly running. And when your foot's down, it's at max pressure or what it can run, and running as much in there as you can. So it's they're not built for fuel economy. So it's you run twice as much fuel as you run on gas. So it's it's just the nature of the beast.